Hey, 50 Cent, why you lying telling them people you sold all them shoes? Stop lying. You filed $100 million bankruptcy when you sold them last time. You got an endorsement deal. Same way you don't discuss your publisher because you don't own no publisher. Toast to all the real hustlers.
The entire streetwear and hip-hop retail universe just suffered a catastrophic 8-figure explosion after Rick Ross dropped verified corporate shipping manifests and wholesale warehouse audits proving 50 Cent completely fabricated the massive, sold-out sales numbers for his newly revived G-Unit sneaker empire. In an emergency, high-voltage counterstrike that has completely shattered Curtis Jackson's billionaire mogul narrative, the Maybach Music Group boss exposed that tens of thousands of G-Unit sneaker pairs were never bought by actual consumers, but were secretly hoarded in third-party overseas distribution hubs and artificial bot networks just to manufacture fake hype online. The spectacle of hip-hop's most ruthless troll getting caught red-handed faking his own commercial success has detonated across Wall Street footwear analysts and sneaker forums worldwide, leaving 50 Cent's corporate credibility completely in ruins. Stay locked in until the final second of this broadcast, because the leaked customs tracking logs, the furious behind-the-scenes board meetings, and Rick Ross's devastating next legal strike prove that this retail war has officially turned into Curtis Jackson's worst nightmare. To truly understand how this earth-shattering retail exposure erupted, you have to examine the decade-long history of bitter corporate one-upmanship, calculated psychological manipulation, and relentless billionaire posturing between William Rick Ross Roberts and Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. For years, 50 Cent built an untouchable public reputation as hip-hop's ultimate corporate assassin. From his historic early partnership with Reebok in 2003, which saw the original G-Unit sneaker become an urban retail phenomenon, to his massive payouts in television production, liquor conglomerates, and luxury spirits, 50 Cent consistently used his balance sheets as lethal weapons against his industry rivals. Whenever Rick Ross flaunted his fleet of luxury Maybachs, his private jet charters, or his 235-acre promised land estate in Fayetteville, Georgia, 50 Cent was always waiting in the shadows to mock Ross's album sales, question his liquid wealth, and label Maybach Music Group a fragile house of cards. The rivalry reached a boiling point when 50 Cent announced the grand independent relaunch of the classic G-Unit footwear line. Bypassing traditional retail giants and relying entirely on direct-to-consumer digital infrastructure, 50 Cent claimed that his modern retro drop achieved historic, record-breaking milestones. Within minutes of going live, his marketing channels announced that every single pair of the multi-million-dollar production run had completely sold out globally. 50 Cent took to social media to celebrate, waving corporate profit sheets, relentlessly taunting Rick Ross's recent chart performance, and staging high-profile public pranks, claiming that while other rappers were begging for life-saving brand deals, G-Unit footwear was moving tens of millions of dollars in pure liquid cash. For weeks, Rick Ross maintained an eerie, calculated silence. While 50 Cent weaponized the alleged sold-out sneaker rollout to ruthlessly mock MMG's commercial standing, Ross was quietly mobilizing an elite team of corporate forensic auditors, international supply chain investigators, and trademark attorneys behind closed doors. Ross knew that in the high-stakes world of luxury streetwear and direct-to-consumer manufacturing, claims of instantaneous sellouts often mask deep logistical vulnerabilities and aggressive financial engineering. Behind the scenes, independent sneaker resellers and retail market watchers were already beginning to notice strange discrepancies in the G-Unit launch metrics. Despite 50 Cent's aggressive claims of historic consumer demand, secondary marketplace platforms like StockX and GOAT showed bizarrely low transaction volumes for their retro shoes. High-end sneaker boutiques in major metropolitan hubs like New York, Los Angeles, and Miami reported that zero physical foot traffic was seeking out the pairs, and online sneakerhead forums were flooded with suspicious reports of instant, sold-out, splash screens appearing before standard consumer checkout channels even went live. Rick Ross's investigative unit traced the digital breadcrumbs directly across international shipping lanes, through European customs declarations, and into high-security commercial freight hubs in Southeast Asia and South Florida. What Ross's team uncovered was not a triumphant retail success story, but an elaborate, highly calculated corporate illusion designed to inflate 50 Cent's market equity, fool commercial investors, and publicly humiliate his rivals. Armed with unredacted international freight manifests, digital server transaction logs, and certified warehouse audit reports, Rick Ross realized he held the ultimate kill shot against Curtis Jackson's business credibility. He didn't just want to dispute 50 Cent's insults on an Instagram broadcast. He wanted to present cold, hard, indisputable evidence to the global public that would dismantle 50 Cent's entire corporate legacy on live camera. The stage was set for an unprecedented counterstrike from the promised land that would turn the tables on 50 Cent and trigger a catastrophic crisis for the G-Unit empire. The counterstrike detonated at exactly 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Wednesday afternoon, when Rick Ross went live without any prior announcement from the executive private library inside his promised land mansion. Dressed in an immaculate, custom black silk Versace robe and wearing thick gold-rimmed Cartier frames, Ross sat behind a polished marble conference table covered with thick stacks of bound, certified legal binders, unredacted corporate dossiers, and heavy commercial freight ledgers. Within 2 minutes, over 650,000 live viewers flooded into the stream, completely blindsiding social media. Ross lit a massive Dominican cigar, took a slow, calculated puff, and looked dead into the camera lens with a calm, venomous smirk. For months, Curtis Jackson has been running around the internet acting like a billionaire retail genius, screaming about sold-out sneakers and laughing at real bosses. But real bosses don't play with fake numbers, and real bosses don't hide behind Instagram bots. Today, the biggest fraud in urban retail history gets torn wide open. Curtis, your entire G-Unit sneaker empire is a lie. Your sold-out drop was an inside job, and I have the international shipping receipts to prove it to the whole world. Without hesitation, Ross signaled to his executive assistant, who held up a massive, high-definition monitor facing the primary stream camera. On screen, Ross began projecting certified international maritime shipping manifests, verified United States Customs and Border Protection cargo manifests, and private logistics audit reports originating from high-security logistics facilities in Port Newark, New Jersey, and Port Everglades, Florida. The documents, stamped with authenticated digital tracking barcodes and official customs clearance seals, detailed the exact production and distribution lifecycle of the entire G-Unit retro footwear revival. The records exposed that 50 Cent's private corporate entity had manufactured exactly 100,000 pairs of the retro silhouette through an overseas apparel partner. However, instead of moving into the hands of real, paying retail consumers worldwide, the digital server logs revealed that over 82% of the inventory, more than 82,000 pairs, was systematically acquired by just 3 Shell Corporation digital wallets funded directly by G-Unit's own internal marketing bank accounts within the first 45 seconds of the website going live. Ross leaned forward, holding a physical copy of a certified commercial warehouse audit inches from the camera. Curtis, you didn't sell out in 60 seconds. You bought your own shoes with your own money through artificial automated checkout scripts just to slap a sold-out banner on your website. Look at this inventory report from the East Coast Logistics Depot. Over 70,000 pairs of untouched G-Unit sneakers are sitting in dusty wooden crates in an unair-conditioned warehouse in Secaucus, New Jersey, right now, collecting mold. You didn't make tens of millions in liquid profit. You spent millions to stage a fake internet flex. To deliver the ultimate humiliation, Ross played an audio recording obtained from an emergency conference call between 50 Cent's logistics directors and a prominent secondary market analytics firm. The audio echoed with devastating clarity across the stream. Look, Curtis wants the narrative locked in before the evening news cycles. If the real conversion rate leaks, the direct-to-consumer valuation tanks before we close the institutional funding round. Trigger the secondary server lockouts. Mark the remaining SKUs as depleted, and route the excess inventory to the private holding facility. We cannot let the public know that only 18,000 pairs cleared actual retail checkout. Ross paused the playback, erupted into a booming, deep laugh, and mockingly toasted his glass of luxury champagne toward the camera, declaring that the self-proclaimed king of content was officially the king of counterfeits. The stream ended abruptly, throwing the global sneaker community, Wall Street apparel analysts, and hip-hop culture into an uncontrolled frenzy. Then came the first catastrophic twist that turned this corporate exposure into an immediate legal emergency. Within 45 minutes of Ross's live broadcast concluding, a leaked digital notice from the Securities and Exchange Regulatory Compliance Division surfaced across leading financial watchdogs. The filing revealed that 50 Cent's parent company, Sire Footwear and Entertainment Holdings, had recently submitted those exact, allegedly fabricated, record-breaking sold-out sales metrics as certified collateral to secure a $45 million corporate line of credit from a major Wall Street commercial lending institution. With Rick Ross publicly exposing the warehouse manifests, the bought purchase transactions, and the secret inventory holdings on live camera, the institutional lenders immediately froze the pending credit facility, launching a full-scale corporate forensic investigation into G-Unit footwear for commercial fraud and misleading valuation claims. 50 Cent's brilliant retail triumph had just unraveled into a high-stakes, multi-million-dollar federal investigation that threatens to bring down his entire corporate network. By 4:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the digital fallout from Rick Ross's live broadcast had triggered an unprecedented crisis across global footwear trade publications, commercial retail boards, and social media. Hashtags like hashtag 50 fake the numbers, hashtag G-Unit warehouse scam, and hashtag broke sneaker mogul exploded across trending feeds, gathering over 180 million impressions within just 3 hours. High-profile streetwear analysts, business news anchors, and sneaker collectors scrambled to review the leaked warehouse manifests, running forensic checks on the digital server logs that showed automated checkout scripts hoarding tens of thousands of unsold pairs. At 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and visibly furious 50 Cent went live from inside the back of a luxury chauffeured Sprinter van speeding down the West Side Highway in New York City. Staring directly into the camera lens with his jaw tightly clenched, 50 Cent launched a relentless, high-decibel counterattack against Rick Ross. William is a jealous, washed-up former corrections officer who gets his little team to forge shipping manifests in Microsoft Word because he can't accept that G-Unit is moving real product. Those documents are complete fabricated garbage. We moved every single unit legit, and our global servers crashed because the culture actually loves what we built. Ross is sitting in a mansion he can't afford, making up fairy tales while his own label is dead in the water. My lawyers are filing massive defamation lawsuits before the market opens tomorrow morning. Despite 50 Cent's aggressive shouting and vehement denials, the public and industry sleuths immediately began poking massive holes in his explanation. Tech-savvy sneakerheads on Reddit and Discord began digging into the digital infrastructure of G-Unit's direct-to-consumer store. Within 2 hours, independent software engineers proved that the exact digital wallet addresses highlighted in Ross's leaked files matched the private payment gateways used by G-Unit's internal distribution partners. Even worse, sneaker resellers began sharing screenshots of automated marketplace analytics showing virtually zero resale transactions on secondary platforms like StockX or Goat, directly backing Ross's claim that real consumers never managed to buy the shoes. Then came the second, jaw-dropping twist that turned this public embarrassment into an absolute corporate disaster. At 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, an explosive investigative report broke on major business entertainment outlets, revealing a leaked email chain between 50 Cent's executive marketing council and then. The leaked correspondence exposed that, just 72 hours before claiming the entire sneaker line was completely sold out worldwide, 50 Cent's team had secretly arranged to offload 60,000 pairs of the unsold G-Unit shoes to deep discount outlet stores across Eastern Europe and South America at a staggering 80% discount off the retail price. The emails confirmed that the entire record-breaking sellout campaign was an orchestrated media illusion designed to artificially pump up the valuation of 50 Cent's private entertainment holding company ahead of a major $50 million private equity buyout. To make matters infinitely worse, the leaked documents contained an urgent, confidential legal memorandum from the executive board of the athletic manufacturing firm producing the shoes. The memo revealed that because 50 Cent's internal holding company failed to clear the final production invoices for the hoarded warehouse inventory, the overseas manufacturers had issued a formal notice threatening to seize all G-Unit trademark assets and auction off the remaining inventory to the highest bidder. Rick Ross immediately seized on the breaking revelations, jumping back onto his social media at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a mocking video holding a glass of vintage champagne. Curtis, you're trying to sell your plastic sneakers at 90% off in European bargain bins while telling the world you're a retail genius. Your manufacturers are about to auction off your own logo to pay your factory bills. The boss told you not to play with the big dogs. Now the whole world knows your billionaire status is made out of cardboard. The entertainment universe was left completely stunned. 50 Cent was no longer just dealing with a rap rivalry. He was now trapped in a catastrophic commercial fraud scandal that could destroy his entire retail empire. The unredacted customs manifests and warehouse liquidation emails detonated an unprecedented shockwave across retail markets, financial news outlets, and hip-hop culture. Within 8 hours of the initial document dump, the controversy had racked up over 280 million impressions, fracturing social media into fiercely divided camps as the authenticity of 50 Cent's retail empire was dragged under a microscope. Across digital platforms, millions of hip-hop listeners, independent sneakerheads, and retail watchers rallied behind Rick Ross, mocking 50 Cent for being exposed in what many were calling the most elaborate corporate bluff in urban streetwear history. At kickmetrics_daily, Rick Ross pulling up with actual maritime bills of lading and Secaucus warehouse manifests is the most devastating counterstrike in rap history. 50 Cent spent months bragging about instant sellouts while 70,000 pairs were sitting in a dusty New Jersey storage depot. You cannot spin this. At MMG_global_vault, Curtis got caught buying his own sneakers with his own company card through automated bots. The biggest boss didn't just clap back. He delivered a forensic audit that completely destroyed 50's entire retail reputation on live broadcast. At Streetwear Forensics, the secondary marketplace numbers never lied. 0 organic trades on StockX, and GOAT was the immediate giveaway. Ross didn't just expose a sneaker drop, he exposed an orchestrated private equity valuation pump. However, an equally vocal faction of die-hard G-Unit loyalists, New York hip-hop purists, and business defenders pushed back aggressively, claiming that inventory staging and strategic warehouse staging are standard corporate supply chain practices being unfairly villainized. At Gunit_Southside_loyal, Ross is leaking selective paperwork to distract from his own album flopping. Every major global apparel brand stages inventory across regional logistics hubs before global rollouts. Curtis is still a master marketer who moves real product while Ross sells fantasy luxury. At NYC_rap_chronicles, Rick Ross acting like an international customs detective is pure comedy. 50 Cent built an empire worth hundreds of millions across film, television, and liquor. One manipulated shipping document isn't taking down the king of New York. At corporateinsider_99, this is routine supply chain pacing. Holding back units to maintain artificial scarcity is literally the foundation of modern streetwear drops from Nike to Supreme. Ross is turning standard business logistics into internet drama. The controversy instantly took over major national morning radio broadcasts and prominent entertainment talk shows. On The Breakfast Club, Charlemagne the God and DJ Envy hosted an emergency panel featuring commercial supply chain analysts and apparel executives, dissecting whether an urban brand can ever recover its street credibility after being caught offloading unsold stock into deep discount overseas outlet channels. Over on the Joe Budden podcast, the co-hosts spent an entire 90-minute segment analyzing the leaked automated server logs, debating whether Curtis Jackson had permanently tarnished his legendary business reputation by prioritizing viral vanity metrics over authentic consumer demand. Meanwhile, major footwear and finance publications like Complex Sneakers, Footwear News, and Bloomberg Retail ran detailed deep dives into the regulatory implications of the leaked audits, questioning whether federal agencies or commercial lenders would proceed with formal fraud investigations against G-Unit's corporate holding group. On TikTok, memes depicting 50 Cent manually packing shipping containers with unsold sneakers or frantically trying to outbid himself on his own website went massively viral, racking up over 90 million views before midnight. The entire entertainment landscape was left completely polarized, torn between sheer shock at Rick Ross's forensic takedown and intense anticipation for the explosive legal battle about to unfold. Just when the entertainment world believed this corporate bloodbath had reached its absolute breaking point, a final, mind-bending twist detonated from inside a high-security international commercial arbitration court that threatens to turn this entire sneaker scandal into the most humiliating corporate takeover in modern business history. At 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, emergency legal filing surfaced from the International Chamber of Commerce's Commercial Dispute Registry in Geneva, Switzerland. The documents revealed that the primary overseas athletic manufacturing syndicate responsible for fabricating the entire G-Unit retro footwear line had initiated an immediate, aggressive contract acceleration clause against 50 Cent's parent corporation. The filing alleged that due to the public exposure of the manipulated sales metrics, the subsequent freeze of 50 Cent's Wall Street credit facilities, and an unpaid $16 million production invoice, the manufacturing conglomerate had declared G-Unit footwear in complete operational default. Under the terms of their international manufacturing agreement, the factory retained a catastrophic contractual remedy. In the event of an uncured financial default, the manufacturer was legally granted the immediate right to auction off the entire 70,000 pair warehouse inventory to any registered global commercial bidder in order to recoup their capital. However, the real shockwave that brought the global hip-hop community to a paralyzed standstill came when investigators identified the registered corporate entity that stepped in at the final hour and executed the full buyout of the defaulted manufacturing debt notes. The buyer who purchased the production debt, acquired the manufacturing liens, and secured total legal ownership of all 70,000 pairs of hoarded G-Unit sneakers was VMMG Global Logistics Holdings LLC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Rick Ross's private luxury investment empire. Let that sink in. Rick Ross didn't just leak the warehouse manifests and expose the fake bot transactions to win an internet argument. Behind the scenes, Ross had quietly coordinated with European commercial debt brokers for weeks. He waited for the exact moment 50 Cent's credit lines froze so he could step in, buy out the unpaid factory debt for pennies on the dollar, and legally seize control of 50 Cent's entire physical inventory. At 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Rick Ross returned to social media with a cold-blooded, triumphant video broadcast from inside the private boardroom of his Atlanta estate. Sitting with a glass of Belair Rose and flashing a certified corporate bill of sale directly into the camera, Ross delivered an ultimatum that sent shockwaves across the entire music industry. Curtis, you thought you were playing corporate chess, but you got caught in a checkmate by the real boss. I own your inventory, I own your bills, and I own every single pair of G-Unit sneakers sitting in that New Jersey warehouse. You got 48 hours to wire $16 million to MMG Global Logistics to buy your own shoes back, or I'm donating all 70,000 pairs to homeless shelters and correctional facilities across the country with Maybach Music Group logos stamped over your face. The clock is ticking, Curtis. Pay the boss, or watch your brand get given away for free. Accompanying the post was an ominous, live digital countdown timer pinned to the top of his profile labeled G_unit_inventory_liquidation_headline, MP4. The entire hip-hop landscape now stands on the brink of an unprecedented catastrophe. If 50 Cent does not wire $16 million to his fiercest rival before that countdown reaches zero, Rick Ross will literally give away his entire footwear empire on live camera as a charity stunt. Will 50 Cent swallow his pride and pay Rick Ross to save his brand's dignity? Or will the hip-hop world witness the ultimate corporate humiliation as Maybach Music Group stamps its logo across the G-Unit empire? The countdown is running out of time, the corporate traps have snapped shut, and the next 48 hours will decide who truly rules the commercial throne. This has been without a doubt the most devastating corporate ambush and forensic takedown we have ever witnessed in the history of hip-hop business. Now, I want to hear directly from you down in the comments. Did Rick Ross just deliver the ultimate checkmate by proving 50 Cent faked his sold-out sneaker numbers and buying out his factory debt? Or do you believe 50 Cent is already preparing a multi-million-dollar counterstrike that will turn this entire liquidation threat on its head? What happens when that 48-hour countdown hits zero? Will 50 Cent wire the $16 million to buy his inventory back? Or will Rick Ross actually stamp Maybach Music Group logos across all 70,000 pairs of G-Unit sneakers? Drop your wildest predictions, forensic theories, and unfiltered reactions in the comments below right now. I am going to be pinned in the comments reading and replying to the best breakdowns all day long. If your mind was blown by this high-stakes corporate exposure, smash that like button immediately. It helps push this investigative story to hip-hop and streetwear fans all across the globe. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell right now. We are tracking every single legal update, factory filing, and live stream response from New York to Atlanta, and the exact second that 48-hour deadline expires, or the moment 50 Cent files his emergency federal injunction, we will be dropping an exclusive follow-up breakdown you cannot afford to miss. Thank you for watching, stay locked in, and I will see you in the very next video.